Our monetary system is really messed up. And so people are looking for a way that they can transact swiftly, easier, and cheaper. And Bitcoin offers all those features. You cannot build a solution and accept it to be adopted if the ordinary person doesn't understand how to use it. Bitcoin has actually given African females the hope to do better for the continent. And they say if you educate a woman, you're essentially educating an entire community. We really don't have to wait for people from the West to build solutions for us, because we understand our own problems better than anybody else. The majority of people are not really interested in the tech side of Bitcoin. People just want to know how they can protect their wealth, how they can transact easily, how they can protect their time and value. A lot of people were against M-Pesa because they just couldn't understand how you can move money using an SMS. True financial empowerment, for me, it's the ability to create value without somebody else coming and taking that value. I feel like a lot of people need to check, as Alex Gladstein would say, check their financial privilege. Maybe try to listen and shut up for once. One of the things that I try to do when I'm attending these conferences is listening to how people use Bitcoin and try to empathize with them and not try to really impose my own ideology. I am not against white men who just want to save in Bitcoin. They live a different reality. So I cannot force them to use Bitcoin as a payment method. But then they should offer the same grace to us. Our systems are not working, and Bitcoin is a lifeline for us.
Hello and welcome to another episode of You're the Voice. I have the honor of sitting here with Lorraine Marcel. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for making this happen finally. This is exciting for me. We are once again at Trezor Studio in Prague. Thank you so much for hosting us. And today's conversation is going to be super cool because you are doing something amazing. And I would love my audience to know a little bit more about you and about your project and about the amazing women around you. Mm-hmm. So I normally start with a quick intro and then I let you complete what I missed.
Okay.
So Lorraine is a financial activist and Bitcoin advocate spearheading Africa's fintech revolution as founder of Bitcoin Dada and its technical arm, Dada Devs,
Yes.
right? She has empowered women across 12 African countries with financial literacy, Bitcoin education, and developer training in Bitcoin and Lightning. Recognized by Forbes and CoinDesk and awarded the most impactful African Bitcoiner in 2024, Lorraine drives hands-on programs, mentorship, and open source contributions for African women developers, while also partnering with universities and fintechs to expand financial education. All right. Can you take us back a little bit to your background? Where did you start and how it ended here in Bitcoin Dada?
Okay, so I think I would start by saying I've always been an entrepreneurial soul, right? So when I finished campus, I actually did banking and finance. And then I got my first job, but then I felt like it wasn't really fulfilling in a bank. And I felt like I was being controlled or choked, and there's no way I was going to grow. And then also the salary that I was getting at that time didn't make sense to me, working from 8 to 5. But in reality, it's not really 8 to 5 because you have to wake up way, way, way earlier for you to be able to get to, the organization. So I quit and started running my own businesses, side hustles, and then which was deemed crazy by a lot of people, including my own family, right?
How old were you then?
I think I was about 26, 27. No. That was way before after campus. That was like around 24 years, right? So did a bit of hustle for some time. And then I took back myself to school to do events management. So did events management and then started my company called Lorice Events. So I would consult for both social events and corporate events. And it was during this period that really the challenges that we African females really I started feeling it. I mean, I grew up in that ecosystem. I grew up in that environment where I would see that the way girls and boys are treated is very different. And as you grow up as a child, you really don't understand. You can sense there's a bit of difference and favorism towards the other gender, but you can't really tell if it's wrong or right because you're still a child, right? So the more I grew, the more I started feeling the pinch and the pain of it. And especially by the fact that I went through a financial I had a financial background. Now I started seeing like the limits that we have as African females, lack of access to credit, needing documents to open bank accounts. And for me, I am lucky I have the papers, but there's so many African females who don't have the education. So they don't have the documents to actually get, to open a bank account, right? So during this period, because I wanted to expand my business, I didn't have a security to give to the bank to offer me credit. For me, that was really like my biggest pain point. I wanted to expand my business, but I couldn't. Right? I didn't have any property to give as security. And that is one of the biggest challenges that African females face, right? Because you can't inherit property, then you don't have something to back you up. Right?
So yeah, let's emphasize this. You cannot inherit property as a woman.
You can't. You can purchase your own property, but you can't. And it's something that is changing, right? It's something that is changing, but it's still a problem for many, right? And a little bit about that background about that culture. It was mainly because it was deemed if you get married to a man, essentially if you inherit your family's property, you're giving away your family's property to this other family. So that's why that was put in place, right? But then it was put in place to avoid that, but then it also limits the woman.
Are there women that are not getting married because of that?
I won't say they're not getting married because of that per se, right? But I would say a lot of women are starting to look at some of these barriers, some of these, limitations, and they're like, I would rather be by myself.
Wow.
I would rather
That's a
be by
trend,
myself.
yeah.
It's becoming, you could
It's not.
say it's
It
a
may not be
trend.
pervasive, but
Yeah. So there's that. There's that as well. So because of these things, I was looking for a solution, a way out. I just didn't know what exactly it was, right?
Yeah.
And by fate and chance, a friend of mine, recommended me to organize an event for a crypto company. They were coming to launch a product in Kenya. That was around 2018, right? There was a lot of ICOs going on. And so there were a lot of shit coins and everything, right? And I said, okay, cool. I mean, let me organize it. So I organized it. And it was during this particular event that I heard about decentralized finance. And I was like, wait, decentralized finance? Maybe this is it for me. So unfortunately, because I didn't have somebody to guide me, I got into, the crypto space without knowing what exactly I was doing. So I bought tokens, I made money, and I also lost money. So it was like gambling for me, right? And at some point, I thought, I have to stop this. It's becoming draining. It's becoming depressing. There's a lot of uncertainty with it. But then I would go online and see, people who would actually made it, and people talking about this is a new revolution. So I knew there was some truth in it, but I didn't know exactly how to tap into it. So when we had the pandemic, I purposely chose to learn what Bitcoin is. So I chose Bitcoin because it's the mother cryptocurrency. So that was like the reason why I studied Bitcoin. So the more I studied Bitcoin, the more I realized I don't even have to study all these other cryptocurrencies, right? Let me just focus on Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So after the pandemic, by good luck or, again, by fate, Paco Dala in India was coming to Kenya. And again, a friend was like, you do events. There's this guy coming, there's this Bitcoiner coming into Kenya. He needs like an intimate event just for a few guys. Could you do it? And I was like, of course, I can do it, right? So I organized this particular meeting. And again, the same thing, only men, right? So I sat in the meeting. I'm grateful they allowed me to sit in the meeting. So I sat in the meeting, and you know the way Bitcoiners can be really passionate
Oh, yeah.
about the topic,
yeah.
right? So I sat and listened to them, and I was like, okay, fine. You know, this is a gift that has been given to us by Satoshi. But then where are the women?
Yeah. Why are they not here?
Where are the women? Like, it doesn't make sense to
Right.
me, right? So I started, like, after that particular meeting, I remember I called some of my friends and I asked them, do you know what Bitcoin is? And they're like, yeah, we know. But then that is like a white, a white male thing. Like, we can't even try that. So I was like, we can learn about it. There's no harm to learning about, what Bitcoin is. And they were like, you go learn, come and teach us. So I did exactly that. So I started learning. But the condition was like, if I'm learning and teaching you, you have to bring one other female.
Nice.
So we're going to create this community where we are all learning together. So I'm glad that they actually decided to take this journey with me, right? So the first cohort, we had 20 females. It was just friends of friends. I would learn during the day and train in the evening. And what kept me going was the enthusiasm and the joy that they felt after learning a concept, after understanding what Bitcoin is. And it clicking for them, it was it clicking that Bitcoin is not for a particular niche of people. Bitcoin is permissionless. So I would say that, and it really gave me the courage and motivation to continue doing what I was doing.
You're the Voice is brought to you by Trezor, the original Bitcoin hardware wallet company pioneering the development of self-custody for crypto assets since 2013, empowering individuals with an open source device, enabling beginners and experts to easily and securely hold their coins. I find my Trezor super easy to use and recommend it to my friends and family. Enjoy my 5% discount on Trezor products by clicking the link in the show notes and using the code AFLAT. I want to introduce you to Abundant Minds because they take a very different approach to Bitcoin mining. Most people buy Bitcoin, but the smart ones mine it straight into self-custody. With Abundant Minds, you can do it without giving up your privacy. Abundant Minds was founded by Bo and Christine Marie Turner, a couple who lost more than $500,000 to providers making empty promises. Instead of walking away, they built a company that raises the industry standard and puts client first, and that's why I like them. With Abundant Minds, you own your machines. They never touch your Bitcoin, never skim a revenue share, and you choose your own mining pool. Their customer care is unusual. Clients speak to a real person for self-custody education, privacy consulting, and even visiting their site. They serve clients from around the world, but US investors specifically enjoy a big tax benefit and 100% bonus depreciation. This is more than just mining Bitcoin. It's about freedom, privacy, and purpose. You can book a free strategy call, see how it works, and mine some of your first Bitcoin for free with a special offer for my audience. Learn more on abundantminds.com/eflat.
So after the first cohort, which I didn't even call cohort back then, I decided, let me do another trial, see if women are really interested in this, women beyond my circle, right? So made a call online on applications for the second cohort, and we had like 150 females interested. So we went from Kenya to other African countries, which was really like a surprise for me, right? But then the thing is, women in Africa are interested in learning about Bitcoin because it's a necessity.
Yeah.
It's more of a need. It's not numbers go up. They're looking for ways to get out of these hurdles and get out of these chains that have been placed upon them for decades, right? And the one thing that is beautiful about women, we just don't think about ourselves. We're thinking about the next generation. And that is why
As a mother,
exactly,
I can confirm.
Exactly. So, and that is why they say if you educate a woman, you're essentially educating an entire community. Right. And I've seen this through the impact that we had. The solutions that the girls are creating, the communities that the girls are trying to impact, it's not just their families. It's about they're thinking about what can I do for my community? What can I do for my country? right? What can I do for even my husband? How can I help him? And the situation in most African countries, it's hard. You cannot really depend on the man to bring the bread home. So when a woman finds such an ecosystem where it's permissionless and they can decide, I'm going to be an entrepreneur in the ecosystem, I'm going to be a developer in the ecosystem without anybody asking me, why are you doing this? I'm going to decide, the money that I'm getting from my salary, I'm going to invest it in Bitcoin instead of trying to save to purchase a land. Right? Because, of course, if you want to purchase a land, you'd probably need like $500,000 to do that, right? So Bitcoin has actually given African females the hope to do better for the continent. And that is one thing I feel like most Bitcoiners do not understand, that Bitcoin has different use cases and it's not just about hodling.
Yes.
It's not.
But hold on. I want you to hold on to that thought because I just want to understand. So since you started Bitcoin Dada, which was when?
2022.
Until now, how many women have gone through the programs more
800.
or less? 800?
Yeah.
From 12 countries?
Yeah, from 12 countries. From 12 countries.
And how many cohorts is that?
9.
9
So we just
already.
recently concluded the cohort 9.
And how long is each program?
So
more or less.
Something that you have mentioned, we have Bitcoin Dada, that's the non-technical side, and then the Dada Devs. So Bitcoin Dada has, we do the non-technical for 2 months. And then we also have workshops, because for us, it's not just about theory. It's about learning the practicality of using Bitcoin and how it relates to their day-to-day life. So we have at least 3 to 4 workshops for each cohort, where they come and interact with the different tools that are available out here. And then for the dev side, it's 3 months, and then they also have their workshops as well. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay. And okay, I just wanted to understand. And you still teaching?
Yeah. I still teach, but I am grateful that Bitcoiners have actually showed up for me. I mean, the first 3 cohorts, I did it by myself mostly. But then I reached out to Bitcoiners and they're like, hey, would you like to join and maybe train a certain topic? And initially, I was afraid to ask for help. But then anytime I would ask a Bitcoiner, it was like, why didn't you do it sooner?
Right.
Because Bitcoiners, I feel like Bitcoiners are they can be toxic, but they can be so like very happy to help. Right? So that really took a lot from my plate, because now I didn't have to worry about, I'm running around trying to hustle for myself and then also coming and training in the evening. I had somebody else, like I had another Bitcoiner taking up that particular session. And that in itself really cemented the idea that Bitcoin is really for everyone. And even the ones who are being in this space are welcoming to anyone and everyone. So the girls really, and I thank you for actually joining one of the sessions and mentoring.
Yes, we did that like 6 months ago or so.
Yeah.
I joined one and we had, I think, 20 women online, and then others have watched it. And I will just share with you, my experience was just phenomenal. I felt like I am speaking to the best audience I've ever had. They were super engaged. They were super grateful, curious, asked the best questions, and so humbled and grateful after. And they have actually started implementing stuff that I taught them.
Absolutely.
Right? I've been seeing them doing stuff and tagging me, and I love it. Like, and the fact I could contribute to them was for me very rewarding. So
absolutely.
Thank you.
And that's the other thing. People don't realize the impact that you can actually create by volunteering to do such things.
Exactly.
I mean, it may look like something very small, but the person who is receiving this, the information, the knowledge, the love, it's such an amazing thing for them, right?
Wow.
That it gets them out of their head that, okay, I can also do this. Like, I just need to take the first step.
Yeah.
Right? So it's amazing that I've had Bitcoiners joining some of our sessions and just, helping with the mentorship and also training them on what Bitcoin is. And that has also helped me in taking off some load from my own plate.
Do you want more people to approach you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm calling my audience to reach out to Lorraine Marcel, whether it's on X or LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
And just say that you want to volunteer and in what kind of topic or skill you can share yourself.
Yeah,
amazing. I want to ask you, so when you started this, you had this vision of like, you're saying, where are the women? Like, we need to bring the women in because there's clearly some imbalance with how women are being treated financially and in general in society. Now doing this with 800 women, seeing the impact that it has on their lives, what do you feel about the mission that you have chosen?
It's very fulfilling. To be honest, I really didn't think would scale that fast. For me, it was just let me start and see what happens. But then the fact of the matter is,
like every good entrepreneur.
Exactly. So the fact of the matter is there is the need.
Yeah.
And people want the solution. They want a tool to help them. So for me, it's very fulfilling when I see, some of these ladies getting employment in the ecosystem or even in the wider fintech world. For me, it's very fulfilling for me to see them build applications that can help us as Africans. Because what I really advocate for, contributing to open source is all great. But then how can we build applications that serve us as Africans? We really don't have to wait for people from the West to build solutions for us because we understand our own problems better than anybody else. You understand your own problems better than I do. You can share your own problems, but there's a certain way I can offer you a solution, but there's something that I might be missing. But if you actually build that solution for yourself, you'd be better at solving that problem. Right? So seeing these women take the initiative and saying, okay, fine, this is happening in Africa, this is happening in my community, and this is the solution that I want to bring and create, accelerates even Bitcoin adoption and removes some of the challenges that we are going through. So that is very fulfilling. And that is what keeps me, even on days where I feel like I want to give up and just go back to what I was doing or do something totally different, is seeing these women, making a name for themselves and changing their own realities and the realities of the people that are around them.
Incredible. Do you feel that there is a different way in which women approach teaching other people about Bitcoin or about financial literacy? Is there something in what you're seeing that they're bringing to the world after they go through Dada that is different than what you saw from the Bitcoin bros? Or
yes.
And what is it? What is
a huge difference.
Yes.
I would say women are more emotionally intelligent. And so because of that, I know that
Don't
has
get
been
offended,
used.
all you guys. We love you too.
That has been used as a weapon against women.
Yes.
Oh, women are emotional, women are this, blah, blah, they can't think logically. But because you're emotionally
psychotic.
Exactly. But because you're emotionally intelligent, it is very easy for us to note this particular culture, this particular group will not get it when I start to explain the technology behind Bitcoin. They don't care. Right? So a woman would approach a particular class, a particular group, a particular community based on the challenge that these people are facing. So if it's a group of farmers, you don't go to farmers and start telling them, Satoshi, there's this white
Every
paper.
10 minutes.
Go and read Bitcoin Standard. You don't do that, right? You don't do that with farmers, right? You don't do that even with entrepreneurs. So women have that intelligence in knowing that, okay, I need to approach this. If I want this particular group to adopt Bitcoin, then I need to meet them at their own level, not from my own level. So women can be humble enough to calm down and say, okay, fine. These are doctors I'm dealing with. I'll approach it on this side. So that's the uniqueness with women and education, right? there's nothing wrong with how men teach Bitcoin, but then it applies to them, and that's fine. But the majority of people are not really interested in the tech side of Bitcoin. People just want to know how they can protect their wealth, how they can transact easily, how they can, protect their time and value. Everything else is all good, but it's good for Marcel and Efrat who understands that, right? Yeah.
100%, 1,000% resonates with me so much. Thank you for sharing that. So governments across Africa, I'm just segueing a little bit.
Okay.
They're exploring CBDCs. I've been reading a little bit about different countries exploring that. From your perspective, how might that affect the individual freedoms of citizens in Africa, privacy, grassroots financial innovation? And what do people mostly use in Kenya today for payments?
Okay.
Like what's the status in Kenya for cash, CBDC? Like how is this evolving there?
Okay, so the good thing about Kenya, not all African countries though, something we need to understand is Africa has 54 different countries, right? So Kenya, the government, when the idea of CBDCs came in, I mean, they wanted to explore it, but then they announced that it's neither a short-term nor a medium priority for us at this particular time, because you already have a digital payment system that is working. So you have what we call M-Pesa. It's a mobile payment platform that is used by 85% of Kenyans in retail payments. So that is really working for people. And I think also the reason why the government might have said that is because of the outcome that the Nigerian government had. Or so,
with
because
the
CBDC,
with
when
the
they
CBDC,
when they
the
introduced
e-naira.
CBDC, there was a lot of protest against it, right? So that might also have affected the decision that our government
Absolutely.
made, right? So M-Pesa has really, dominated the space. Kenya is mostly, like, I would say, almost cashless, but then, of course, in the rural areas, people still use cash.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes,
When did that start?
So this started, I think, if I'm not wrong, in 2002. But initially, of course, everybody was like skeptical
A long
about
time
it.
ago.
It
2002?
if I'm not wrong, 2002, 2004, if I'm not wrong, right?
Wow, that's a long time.
It is.
Okay.
But then it wasn't as swift.
Of course
as
not. This
people
is
think.
gradual
Yeah,
every time a little
it's
bit
gradual.
more. Yeah.
And I remember a lot of people were against M-Pesa because they just couldn't understand how you can move money using an SMS. So there were things like, oh, this is devil worshipping. This is scam. They want to scam us of our money. How can we send money using a mobile, right?
Sounds familiar, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It really didn't click at that particular time. So Safaricom, which is the telecommunication, really needed to do a lot of education. And if there's one thing that Safaricom has done is proper education. They went all out. They would go to the villages, they would be on the urban centers, urban areas, just teaching people what M-Pesa is and how it could make their lives easier, right? So it's been gradual. And right now, when you come to M-Pesa, you'd think that it's something that happened overnight, but it didn't. Like, I grew up in the time where I saw my parents using cash, and then M-Pesa was introduced. So I saw that gradual,
change.
Adoption of M-Pesa. So that has made Kenya mostly cashless.
Wow.
Other countries like Nigeria are a cash-based society. So there's that difference.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tired of feeling like your freedom and future are fading away? Do you live in a country with growing inflation, crazy housing prices, weird culture, and a chaotic economy? You're not alone, and my friend Mikkel Thorpe and his team at Expat Money can help. Mikkel is the world's leading expat consultant on a mission to free you from broken systems. He's been an expat for 25 years, lived in 9 different countries, and has helped hundreds of people with second residencies and passports, offshore banking, international investing, and many other essential tools. If you're serious about protecting your wealth and your family, it's not enough to hope things will get better. You need a plan B in another country. The team at Expat Money can help you build it. legally, safely, and without wasting years of research. Visit expatmoney.com/efrat and leave your details for a follow-up. In a world hypnotized and sleepwalking towards totalitarian control and digital enforcement, awakened voices rise to inspire change and radiate hope. In December 2024, I had the honor of hosting Professor Matthias Desmet at a conference I produced called New Totalitarian Order. This masterclass is now recorded and available to watch. The conference explores the psychology behind global mass processes, offering a behind-the-scenes look at science, economics, and human potential. It addresses challenging global agendas, mass formation, transhumanism, consciousness, societal change, and the path to transformation. Click the link in the show notes to access 3.5 hours of exclusive presentations, in-depth content, and my fireside chat with Professor Desmet. Use my code EFRAT for 10% off. I hope you find great value in it. And today they are not planning to introduce CBDC,
Not
right?
at the moment.
In fact, they said that they are regulating crypto and Bitcoin now, right?
Yeah. So recently they just, the VASP bill was signed in. I have mixed feelings about it. I know a lot of people are excited, but then there's also the fear of, the VASP bill says that you have to provide KYC. You have to, pay tax, right? And then there's also the fear of surveillance. What exactly can they do with this information? So if they know Bitcoin Dada, so not maybe Bitcoin Dada because it's an education and it's non-profit. Let's say I build an app, right, for people and it's non-KYC. There's that fear, will they mandate people or developers to make every platform KYC? And then how are they going to calculate the profits that you make? Right? So for me, it's like,
of course,
I'm not sure. And then the other thing is the benefit to that is people will be more open-minded to listening to you because the government has actually signed that bill. So they're like, okay, fine. It's
like
not
a mainstream stamp.
Yeah. So that's the only upside that I'm saying about it. It's easier for now people to open up and say, okay, I'm going to join Bitcoin Dada. I'm going to join another platform. I'm going to take the initiative.
Because now someone said that
exactly,
it's okay.
because, right? So that's the only upside that I'm seeing. But it was just done last week. So we're yet to see. Yeah, the aftermath of it.
And what would you say the adoption of Bitcoin is like in Kenya?
It's growing.
You're saying the awareness is there, but the adoption is not?
No. So for Kenya, I would say it has really grown.
Okay.
The adoption rate of Bitcoin has really grown, and other cryptocurrencies like stable coins as compared to other countries. And I would probably attribute these to the technology, which is, again, the mobile payments application.
Yeah.
Because already people are used to using M-Pesa. It's easier for them to use Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? As opposed to other countries that they have never really interacted with mobile payments. So it's become harder for them. And then I would also attribute this to we have a population of younger people who are looking for other ways to either save, to build their own wealth, or to contribute, right? And to build their own companies and all sorts of things. And I would also say the Kenya government has been supportive in terms of adopting new technology. So it has been very open-minded to that. So that has really helped.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does true financial empowerment look like to you?
True financial empowerment, I think for me, it's the ability to create value without somebody else coming in and taking that value. Right?
Extracting something
from that.
Yeah.
Or limiting the amount of value that I can give or I can get.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. So if you can empower someone to preserve the full capacity of their value,
exactly,
this is true empowerment. This
That's
is beautiful.
True empowerment.
Yeah, this is beautiful. And you've trained and mentored hundreds of women developers through the Dada Devs. Why do you think it's so important to bring more women into Lightning development and Bitcoin development?
So the thing is, I mean,
you started mentioning before, by the way, where I cut you about the need, where it comes from, the need for women in Africa. Whereas I think women in the West is a totally different story.
Yeah. So again, I would go back to, building solutions for our own community. And you cannot build a solution and accept it to be adopted if the ordinary person doesn't understand how to use it.
Yeah.
Right? And like I said, women are very detailed. So they can build, but also be able to sort of ask themselves, this particular application I'm building, does it really connect with the ordinary person? And that is something that I feel like we lack in the Bitcoin ecosystem.
Do you have an example for something that was built in Dada Devs?
Yes. So not in Dada Devs, because Sabina was a Bitcoin Dada, not necessarily Dada Dev. But then if you look at Tando, it's very easy to use. The user interface is very easy to use. Anybody can
you say
use.
what Tando is?
So Tando is an application that allows you to off-ramp Bitcoin and use your fiat, so the Kenya shilling. So you can come to Kenya, or anybody in Kenya can actually off-ramp using Tando, right? So you can pay for goods, pay for services with your Bitcoin, right?
Amazing.
And the interface, if you look at the interface of Tando, it's very simple. Send money, and that's it, right? You can see your transactions as well, right? So that is like one of the examples that I would give of why we need more women building. And Tando has become so popular.
Really?
It's very popular. I use Tando all the time. So
wow.
Yeah, because it's easy for me to understand. It goes, I need to send money. That's it.
Not even receive, just send?
Send, because it's for off-ramping.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's for off-ramping, so it's just send money. So I need to send money, and that's it.
I love it.
Very simple. And this is why, again, I say, like, we need women in these spaces, because women also have value. Their contributions matter. They're the same people who interact with these people that you're trying to build for.
Yeah.
So why not have them on the same table? It's not a fight against men.
Not at all.
It's not, right?
Not at all.
But it's bringing efforts together. You are skilled in this particular area. I'm skilled in this particular area. I interact with these people. You interact with these people. We bring our thoughts together and say, this is the best we can build for our people. And I know developers can be really in their head, and they can be attached with what they are building, that they forget that they are building for other people, right? So yeah, it's very important to have female developers in the space. We need different perspectives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do the women that sign up for Dada Devs, are they all developers already?
Yes. So because, so one thing, we really don't have the bandwidth to start and the resources to start
coding,
people to code. So what we do is we take developers who have at least 2 years of experience. So you would have to have like a programming language. So it's easier for you to understand and take the classes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. African Bitcoin adoption is rising fast, as you said, out of necessity. What are the unique challenges and advantages that you see on the continent when it comes to building circular Bitcoin economies? And I know it's very different from one country to the other, but I think you are very well positioned to like talk about different places, because you did interface with women from different countries in Africa.
What are the advantages and disadvantages of
the advantages and disadvantages of building circular economies around Africa?
Okay. Of course, the advantages of building circular economies, one thing that we are trying to do is, improving our economies. And when you're building these circular economies, you're essentially doing that from the grassroots level, right? So that is one of the biggest. That is one of the biggest advantage. Remember, the other thing is you're trying to make it easy for people to transact, which might be hard for some, right? The other thing is you are giving them hope to build a generational wealth, right, through these circular economies, right? So if someone can be in a situation where they can go to a shop and pay in Bitcoin, or they can receive Bitcoin, essentially you're helping this person, protect, like you said, protect their value without necessarily having to think about, oh my God, the bank can, not the bank, the government can wake up and decide to devalue or debase the currency. So we are actually helping these particular economies build generational wealth, right? Disadvantages of building circular economies. Are there disadvantages of building circular economies?
I'm sure there are challenges.
Challenges, yes. So challenges is one of the challenges that I feel people who are building circular economies is the aspect of scams,
Okay. Yes.
So Bitcoin came to Africa. I think the first impression that people got was Bitcoin was a scam. So it's very hard for people to not really convince, but to educate people because they already see Bitcoin as a scam and they see you as a scammer as well. Right? So that's the first thing. Second thing, you need to understand is not everyone in Africa has access to stable electricity or stable internet, right? So that's also another challenge. You want to teach people, or they're interested, but then there's the lack of electricity penetration. Internet penetration is a problem as well, which stifles innovation as well, right? So you can build this perfect application, but then you go to this country and either the mobile penetration is also low, or they can't be able to afford a particular phone that can accommodate an application because it's big, right?
Yeah.
And that is why innovations such as Machankura are really beautiful, because Machankura allows you to send and receive value on SMS, on USSD. So that can be used by anyone who has a burner phone.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's beautiful. But these are some of the challenges, mobile penetration, electricity, internet penetration. Those are some of the challenges that people who are trying to build circular economies are facing, right?
Yes, I love it because then those challenges are bringing in even more innovation to try and overcome.
Exactly. True.
It's beautiful. I wanted to ask you about what you started mentioning before about HODLing versus using Bitcoin as a method of payment, which in most of the West, it's the other way around. Most of the Westerners that I know are looking at Bitcoin first as the digital gold, it's like the most scarce asset, goes up in value versus their fiat. And so it makes complete sense to save in that asset.
Absolutely.
And then you go to Africa, different countries, and you see a real need to just make the day, make the week, make the month and survive and be able to transact in their fiat currency, whether it's digital or cash. And it's like a different priority. So how do you perceive HODLing, and is it at all something that is coming to the consciousness of women and of Africans at one point when they are in their Bitcoin journey?
So I'd say I'm not totally against HODLing, but I'm against shoving it down people's throats.
Okay.
That I'm against, because women are good at saving.
Yes.
And they need to save in something that they are sure that they would wake up and it would have value, as opposed to, devaluation or things like that. So I'm not really against HODLing, but then the biggest use case for Bitcoin in Africa is not HODLing. That's not the biggest. It's for payments, right? Because our monetary system is really messed up. And so people are looking for a way that they can transact swiftly, easier, and cheaper. And Bitcoin offers all those features. So that's the first thing they would look at. Saving is also part of it because also people are looking at building wealth. And I mean, real estate is not like right now, we can't kid ourselves. Real estate isn't really like an investment that you'd want to look at, right? So they're looking at options where they can also invest for future. And Bitcoin is actually a great option for them. So yes, it's something that we look at, but it's not like the biggest priority or the first thing that we think of. Yeah.
I love that. And for people, I'll just give you a little perspective. I went to a local Bitcoin conference in Israel, where I'm from. It was a year ago. And up there on stage, sitting a panel of men, of course, white men, talking about Bitcoin and blah, blah, blah. And one of them so confidently says, Bitcoin payments has clearly failed around the world. It's like, that's what he said. We already know that that's not happening. So it's only like the digital gold use case of Bitcoin, the HODLing, that is important when we talk about Bitcoin. And with such certainty and confidence, he says that. And I'm looking, like, I walked in right when he said it. I'm looking at him like, you have not been to Africa. You have not been to El Salvador. You have not been to all the places that I've been. I haven't been to Africa recently, but so many places that I've been to, Thailand, that where I used Bitcoin as money. And just people have different priorities than you do. And you look at the world from your own lens in a very narrow way, and you don't open yourself up to think what this thing can actually solve.
Exactly. I feel like a lot of people need to check, as Alex Gladstein would say, check their financial privilege and maybe try to listen and shut up for once. One of the things that I try to do when I'm attending these conferences is listening to how people use Bitcoin and try to empathize with them.
Yes.
And not try to really impose my own ideology. Again, like I said, I am not against white men who just want to save in Bitcoin. They live a different reality. So I cannot force them to use Bitcoin as a payment method. Right? But then they should offer the same grace to us.
Yes.
Our systems are not working. And Bitcoin is a tool for us. It's a lifeline, not even a tool. It's a lifeline for us.
Yeah.
So have the same grace that we offer you. Give it back to us.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
The message of like listening and learning and open yourself up and humbling down and just like lower your guard and be ready to see the world in a different way.
Yeah.
That is such an important message.
Because if you don't do that, then you essentially, what you're doing is duplicating that fiat system.
Yeah, all over again. It's
all over again.
Fiat mentality.
It's the same mentality, which is hypocritical if you ask me.
I agree.
Yeah.
You were named one of the most influential or impactful, African Bitcoiners of 2024. What did that recognition mean to you, and how did it shape your next steps?
First of all, it was very humbling.
Yeah.
One of the things that...
It's a nice recognition. Huh?
It is. It was very humbling. And, with what I do, like I said, Bitcoin Dada is the blueprint of what we've been doing, right? So sometimes I had like my own doubts. And as much as I would see the impact that I'm making, but then there would be no recognition from outside, I would question myself, like, is it really worth it?
Yeah.
Am I doing the right thing? But then when that particular recognition came in, I was like, okay, people see what I'm doing. People see the impact of what we are doing. People appreciate my girls as well.
Yeah.
And it gave me a sense of, it gave me motivation to continue what I'm doing, right? So it reinforced the resilience to push on and keep going. So it was a really humbling moment for me. And seeing the girls, some of them even cried. So I really appreciate my girls for that. I can't cry, but they can cry on my behalf. So they were really happy.
I think they're going to share the hell out of this episode.
I was happy because, things like this, it's not just about me. It's also about my girls, because they tend to feel like whatever happens to Marcel can happen to us as well.
Yeah.
So if the outside world can appreciate Marcel, that means they also recognize us as Dadas.
Bingo.
Exactly.
Bingo.
So that wasn't just for Marcel, it was for the Dada community. And they were so happy because one of the things that people don't understand is getting into this space as an African female. First of all, people really don't get what you're trying to do. They don't understand your problems. They don't understand your challenges. And some, unfortunately, don't even want you in this space. So there's also that passive aggressiveness towards African women in this space. And I am strong. I can deal with it. But not many Dadas can deal with that, right? So when they see this kind of recognition, they're like, okay, so the space actually embraces us.
Beautiful.
Right? And it gives them confidence.
So much power, yeah.
Yeah. It gives them the confidence to, okay, so we are appreciated as a community, as African women. We can do this. Right? So it was a humbling experience. Yeah.
And Dada in Kenyan means sisters?
Dada in Swahili means sisters.
Swahili, sorry.
Yeah. So it's essentially Bitcoin sisters.
Bitcoin sisters. Amen. Yeah. Wonderful. We already talked about how people can contribute. I mean, you said they can volunteer. Is there anything else that you want the community to know that they can reach out and help with?
Yeah. So something that I didn't mention was, so Bitcoin Dada has been there for some time, since 2022. Dada Devs, on the other hand, I started it last year.
Yeah.
So we're currently doing our third cohort.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's any developer out there, right, who are willing to train, right, female developers, please feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to reach out to me, and we can do something together. If you want to contribute, maybe you're not confident in your training skills and you feel like you want to contribute in terms of funds, then both our websites, they have a link to an address where you can contribute. So there's that. And if you can't do either that, you can basically follow us on social media and just engage with our post and see what we've been able to do.
Yeah, I love that. And where can they find you online? What do they...
Okay, so
on
Twitter,
yep.
So on Twitter, we are BTC_Dada. And then for Dada Devs, it's just Dada Devs. That is DADA Devs. LinkedIn, the same, BTC Dada and Dada Devs. Yeah, and our websites are btcdada.com and dadadevs.com.
Perfect. And you'll give me the links. I'll add them to the show notes.
Thank you.
I want to acknowledge is like not the right word. I want to like bless you from the bottom of my heart because you make such an incredible, beautiful, inspiring difference in the world, and you are so selfless. I mean, sure, you got into this because you're in finance and you wanted to learn, you're an entrepreneur. I get all of that, but very quickly I feel like it became so much bigger than you, so much bigger than who you are. And wherever you go and whenever I hear you speak, what I see is you just as a voice, as a messenger for a big community behind you of African women that are step by step becoming stronger, becoming more independent, more sovereign, and I think more happy, like joyful from what they are acquiring in the world. And so much of this is thanks to you. So well done.
Thank you
for what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
It was lovely to do that.
I mean, thank you for having the Dadas because I represent the Dadas. So
yes, I love the Dadas. You ladies rock. And hopefully I will meet some of you when I come to Africa soon to one of the conferences.
You should come to ABC, African Bitcoin Conference.
I will work on it, I promise.
Anybody who wants to
It's on my list,
Dadas,
to be honest. I will get there.
Yeah. And anybody who wants to meet the Dadas, you will always find a Dada at the ABC conference. So
wonderful.
Get to interact with them.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for being with us. Please take a minute to give this episode a like, a comment, and subscribe or follow. And please share it with your friends so they can also get value and choose to take some positive action in their lives. Till next time.